Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Finding the Solution. It's not just a podcast, this is an opportunity to see inside someone's journey in life really, over the last 3-4 years, and people have met and people have come across. But you get all warts and all with me. I'm not trying to hide, I'm not trying to shy away. I don't want to keep anything from anybody. My story is out there in the press and other avenues, and I think there's something quite, how do I put it, not powerful, but it gives, it turns into a vehicle to help others on their journeys, hopefully. And you know, I often say this, but if this podcast helps one person today, then I'm in. You know, so just last week, talking about facing your fears, I've done a couple of things over the last week that have really pushed boundaries. For, you know, people that don't know, my girlfriend hasn't been well over the last few weeks, maybe last month. And I had to really soul search and really look at me lots of times and not make it about me. But then, you know, I went and done the NHS clinical entrepreneur. I'm actually a patient entrepreneur, but I went and done the big pitch, which was in the QE2 in London. I had an exhibition stand, so we got to set up Finding the Solution, and we got to do some amazing stuff and show people what goalball is about and show them the equipment, and really be open and honest with some people about when they asking me questions around sight loss and stuff, and also the impact it's had around mental health and that. And the truth is, sight loss hasn't had a massive impact on my mental health. My mental health was already shot. My mental health was already all over the place. But sight loss has allowed me to see it, which is it's a breath of fresh air when you can say that out loud, I'll be honest. But part of the NHS Clinical Entrepreneur programme in the QE2, I got asked to speak on a lived experience changes lives panel. In a room with 700 people. And you know, I openly spoke about where I was at, that I'm an alcoholic, I used recreational drugs, I was homeless, I suffer with mental health, and I freely shared some of that information because I think it's important. If I'm in a room with clinical entrepreneurs, with surgeons, doctors, and people who are really going to impact lots of lives as well, it's important that they hear the truth. It's important that they get all of me. I'm the founder of Finding the Solution. So I lost my sight about 4.5 years ago now. And when I say it was the best thing that happened to me, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. But it made me look at myself. And then I played a visually impaired sport called Go Ball. And when I played the Go Ball, I remember being hit with the ball and remember knowing straight away I was going to be okay. But then I asked myself straight away, what age does this go into schools? And I've looked into this, and it doesn't go into schools at all. So I've done some pilots, and I've done some pilots in the background. We've now talked to over 300 children. But not just visually impaired children, children with disability, children with neurodiversity, but children who aren't playing sport. Every child in our community should be playing sport. What I do is I take some shades in, so every child will wear a set of shades, so I take the sight away. And then as soon as I took the sight away, I teach them to communicate on a very base level. I teach them to actively listen on a base level, to team build, to team bond. And you know, we watch children just sort of come alive. And there's something very special about being full of courage as a child, facing your fears, thinking that we can't do something, and then watching them achieve it. Watching them. So for me, Finding the Solution is not about me inspiring children. It's about children inspiring children. It's about children going out there and showing other children that be kind, be nice, be understanding, be empathetic. And this world is a beautiful place if you are. And then they're our next generation. So Finding the Solution, that's what it's about. Thank you. And that for me was a beautiful, beautiful experience, but I didn't feel 100%, and that's the truth. I didn't feel mentally ready. But I really enjoyed it. It's like something that you need to do to sort of come out of the dark place into the light again. But it was really important for me to do that, to see how harder and how better I can try to live life on a daily basis, and how I can be there for loved ones more, and friends, family, and that journey started 4.5 years ago when I started to lose my sight. And through starting to lose my sight, I walked into the rooms of recovery. So, without telling you too much of my journey, which you've probably already picked bits up of, I'm going to introduce you to a guy, Sobriety Steve, friend of mine, over a year clean, and just a wonderful human being. He's helping lots of people on TikTok, and he's got an amazing, wonderful journey, and I'm sure he's got many, many beautiful years ahead of him if he works this every single day. So let's let Steve introduce him. So let you meet Steve. Not let Steve introduce himself. But you know, let's jump straight into the interview with me and Steve. So I just wanted to introduce you guys to Steve, good friend of mine, Steve Kavanagh. You can catch Steve on TikTok. And yes, also, how long have I known you now, Steve? 12 months?
No, it's less than that, mate.
Is it?
Yeah, about 6 months, mate.
Wow.
It feels like a lot longer, doesn't it, mate?
I remember meeting you in Rysdale.
Yeah.
Was...
You did, you came in for a share, didn't you?
Yeah, so I came in on a share in a rehab in Liverpool, and yeah, so I think that was the very first time I met you.
Yeah,
though.
so it might be 8-9 months then, yeah, the first time I met you. You might be right there.
But today we're going to talk a little bit around not just addiction but recovery, and just both where we're at today, and just a bit of brutal honesty, I think, for me anyway. But it's good to have you in the room. It's good to be able to talk about this. You know, I've spoke about on finding a solution about my mental health and other stuff, and I've touched on addiction as well. But I've never been sat here with another person who's in recovery as well. So good to be with you, brother.
Yeah, good to be with you.
How have you found your last 12 months then, mate?
Wow, I mean, I don't even know where to... Well, I do know where to start. God, so I came into recovery through homelessness, and that's where addiction took me, right? Yeah. I'd heard about the Whitechapel Centre in Liverpool, but I was too embarrassed to go to them at first. I thought I could find a solution myself. Yeah, I thought I could find a way out. Pride and ego got in the way. I approached them, and I remember them putting me up for a short space of time. It was only 2 days, but then I was back out there. But they put me in contact with the it's called the Night Hub. Now this place, it kind of let me in at 8 o'clock at night, but then kicked me out at 7 o'clock in the morning. But my addiction at that point, mate, I was still very much an active addiction. I remember they set me up on benefits for the first time in my life, and I got an advance payment of £400 universal credit.
You know where that's going.
And it went straight on DURGS. Yeah.
And do you know what? It's funny, but like it's just you're saying, you know, it's like homelessness, and that's where this took me. It took me to the street as well, and it's mad. But people say you're rock bottom, and your rock bottom for me is death.
It is.
I think if you can climb out, and then 12 steps get you out of that hole, don't they? But it's funny, you don't hear any great stories of people walking into recovery, do you?
No. Can I be honest? I'm sorry to interrupt you. For me, Ray, the 12 steps, as though it keeps me clean and it keeps me sane, but the 12 steps didn't save my life, mate, because the rehab, the Raj rehabs, it actually, because when I came into the rehab, I was going into the rooms, but I was picking up straight after, so I wasn't physically in.
But did you have a program in you though?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But
I think
I couldn't take in the information because I was using it every single day.
I think a rehab stops you, but it can't keep you stopped.
No, it can't keep you stopped.
Do you know what I mean? And I think, look, there's so many people. I think it's a pathway.
They think once that's out, they think that so the rehab's a pathway to the 12 steps, and it is. And obviously you get H&I. You came in to see me in there, and you give me little insights. But it wasn't until 6 weeks, Ray, that I actually sat in the rooms. of H&I, and then wanted to take in that information, because I'll be honest, that first 6 weeks, I wanted to run, mate.
Well,
and Lisa said to me, she said, Steve, this is not a prison, mate. You can run whenever you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The door's open.
And it's funny that, though, because I walked into recovery and my mate brought me in. He's my Herbie, he's my friend. And, you know, I had a drinking career with him. And when he brought me into recovery, I just didn't work the steps. I had that excuse, I can't see, and there's no way of me being able to read that book. And I don't really need a sponsor. And I was like listening to everyone in the room, and I was like, these don't understand me properly. And I counted for 62 days, mate. So it's funny how you're saying that, but I think a lot of people come in and they're like, it's like a rabbit in headlights, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, it is.
What's this? And you hear people say like, oh my God, we feel like it's a cult and that. At the end, you know, we stand up, we put our hands together, we do a prayer and stuff, and it's like, the first time we done that, I was like,
it's overwhelming, isn't
what's going on in here? You know what I mean? And it's even like the word God. I mean, like, I openly say I believe in God now, but I walked in the room as an atheist, mate. I thought, how could there be a God if he'd done this to me, poor me? And today it's like, you're so naive, right? You know, it's funny when I look back, even how I used to pray. I prayed for me, whereas today I pray for others, and it's even something as simple as that, isn't it?
It is, mate. Putting others above your own, you know, for the first time in your life, you're actually thinking about others, and it fills you with, you know, with happiness and joy. And obviously I went into the Whitechapel Centre on Langsdale Street. Yeah. That's where you get your showers and they give you food and that, right? Now I volunteer there, mate. 3 days a week in there. So, cool. So it's mad, isn't it? No, so you've got Joe on head office there, Langsdale. So me and Joe. You've got Steve, who's one of the volunteers there. He's been there for 3 years, and he's taken me through the ropes and that. But I absolutely love it, mate. I love it, and it's lived. Obviously, I only went there for 5 weeks, but I can't tell you, like I sit there with lads coming through, and when I say I've been where you are, I was only there for a couple of weeks, but for me, they were the hardest weeks of my life. Some people will stay in homelessness for years. For me, it was either get it sorted, or I was gonna die.
Most definitely. When I first came into recovery, I remember we opened an outreach project called HOP, which is Help Older People, and we went on the streets, and I used to say to them people, you know, we're only 1 use away from being back on the streets, but you're 1 meeting away from being in recovery as well. And that's as simple as it is. As simple as it is. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. But I mean, it's funny you're saying like about giving back. I had this conversation with somebody the other day, and it was like, they were like, oh, I volunteer, and I was like, you had to be forced with your program to volunteer, so did I. Do you know what I mean? There's people out there that just do it naturally.
No, of course.
And then people listen. Anyone who's listening and you volunteer, and naturally, my hat's off to you, you know what I mean? And like, I think there's something very special about giving back.
I think, you know what? I think you've hit a nail on the head a little bit there, because like, for me, I done it initially because I wanted to give back, and my program told me to give back, and it made me feel like I was giving something. But when you're in the role, and my thoughts and feelings, I don't know what it was, right? It just changed, and now I absolutely love the role, do you know what I mean? And I come back to my partner Lisa, and I talk about it, and I say, do you know what? It fills me with so much happiness. Just the other day, I give out like 28 meals to different people. I was cooking them, no one else was there. I was in the kitchen on my own, mate. Just banging them out.
Oh, for any one of them 28, we apologise. Steve's terrible at cooking.
It's from the LFC Foundation.
Oh right,
They're all LFC Foundation meals, mate. So they're not eating like they're eating well, mate.
No, that was a joke.
No, I know that. Yeah,
you know,
it was a joke.
Ramsey, but
I'm a microwave operative.
but it's funny because I come into recovery, and I come from homeless, and I remember meeting a lady in shelter, and we campaign now within Liverpool in a campaign called Help. But I remember meeting her, and she was like, what do you want from this? And I said, I want you just put me in front of politicians. I want to tell them that this shouldn't happen to anyone else. No, it's not about me. And it was like that light bulb moment where you're like, you're just not that special, right? You're just really not that special. And I've spoken in Parliament, I've spoken in the Labour Party conference, I've spoken in some weird, crazy arenas where you're like, you land there, and you're like, what am I doing in here? I've spoken at Business Awards in London about 6 months ago, and there was over 1,000 people in the room, sat all in suits and that. There's me just stood like, like leaning up against this pedestal, like, listen, I'm just going to be honest with you. And I spoke openly about addiction and being homeless and stuff, and highlighted that whole event for me was when I come off the stage, a young girl come up to me and she went to me, can I just tell you I'm 139 days clean?
Oh, boss.
And that's the moment I remember. I bothered about the suits or the dinner was okay, you know what I mean? Like,
it wasn't LFC Foundation meals, but it was.
But what I mean is that, and there's something really wonderful about being able to be honest, empathetic and compassionate in the right way. So if you're obviously in the Whitechapel, that means you can talk in a way that people understand, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's something very special about that.
The recovery community, though, as you know, I mean, addiction's increasing, you know what I mean, in the UK. In 10 more years, there will be more people dying of addiction than will be, you know, now. And that's why it's so important that we spread this message and get it out there. But I think as a community of people now, it's especially on like TikTok, and I go on TikTok. I'm gonna plug TikTok because it's amazing, mate. It's like it's the best recovery platform in like out of all them, Instagram, Facebook, you know, you name it.
So can you just tell people just about your TikTok, how it started, when you started? So
basically, I came on. I remember finishing the first part of Rise Recovery, right?
Yeah.
And for anyone who doesn't know Rise, you could do 4.5 months in kind of solitary confinement. I didn't have my mobile, so I couldn't go onto TikTok. But then basically I moved next door, and that's when I got my phone back, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to document myself, and I just started putting videos out there on TikTok. And I remembered I went for I was doing 10k runs then. Jeez, I can't even run 5k now, but I was doing 10k runs, and I finished one run, and I just went, you know what, broke down, just told my whole story, and then just posted it. And like within 2 days, it had 33,000 views. Wow. And I was just like, whoa. And I was just talking for 10 minutes, but just like, just honesty and openly, like, I've done this in my life, I've committed crime, or, you know, this is where the depths of addiction takes you to. I've hurt my family, I've loved ones, everyone around me, and I just connected. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to speak out openly, honestly. I was doing my meetings at 6:30, coming home at 7:30, and 7:30, I didn't want to. I made a commitment to myself not to go out past 8 o'clock. What's the point of me going out past 8? There's nothing out there for me. There's nothing out there but danger. You know what I mean? Unless I'm having a kebab, I'm not going out past 8. So I jumped on this live, and it was Rob's Recovery Live, and it was this guy from Bradford, and he was talking recovery from 9:30 till 12, and I thought, God, this guy works the programme, he's absolutely inspirational, really, really top fella. And then I just stuck in his lives for 4 months, right? Literally just integrated myself into his lives. And then I just got to a point where I thought, I can't stay up till midnight every night. I'm gonna do my own one from 8 till 10. So we laugh about it now. Now we've got like a joint live together, which is brilliant. I absolutely love it. And I've met I've met Rob in person. Like 3 times, and he's honestly proper lovely, salt of the earth fella. And together we kind of just do a recovery live from 8 till 12, and we plug each other's stuff, so people are still getting a top up now. It is just a top up, that's all it is. And if people come in and they struggle, and they're from the northwest of Liverpool, and they say, or stay in Liverpool, and they go, can you signpost me to somewhere? I'll signpost them, mate. And if someone says I want to go to a CA meeting in I don't know, Doncaster, I'll look for them, and I'll send them links and stuff. But as you know, mate, you've got to do it yourself. It's an action program, and if you've got to. There's loads of times I went for other people, and I sat in rooms, picked up chips, and I was still round the bed, mate. And I was going home to my partner, giving her the chip, and she was going, "You're on it right now." And I was like, "No, I'm not." Couldn't even keep a straight face, and but it was.
I'm laughing because that's what we get.
But it was horrible.
We think we're blending it though.
Yeah, no. I mean, like you can't blend cocaine.
No, you can't.
You can't. Alcohol. I don't even. I mean, once you alcohol wasn't my thing, but when you put one line in me, you'd know in a flash.
Like for me, I could drink 2-3 litres of vodka a day, and I could think nobody would know I've had a drink, right? And like I look back and I think, how? You probably smell of vodka, never mind.
Smell, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's that, like, I often say this, and I say this in meetings a lot, but the fact that I lied to me, it's not the fact I lied to everyone else, and that I can make an amends to them people. But it freaks me out when I think that I wake up in the morning and I tell myself it was okay. I tell myself that the night before was okay. And just check that's still recording.
Yeah, it's still recording.
Yeah, because we done one a few weeks back, and it listen, it's all about truth. And when we finished, it only recorded 12 minutes, so.
Yeah, it's on 14 minutes.
But the fact that I lied to me, And the fact that I manipulated myself every single morning to tell myself that last night it wasn't bad, when I maybe sat at the end of the bed thinking about taking my own life, rocking like a lunatic, thinking people are coming for me. And then I wake up in the morning and I'm like,
go again.
Do you know what it was sound? You only had
only
had a few vodkas, and I'm like, no one ever, I had 2 litres. You only had a couple of bags, no one ever, I had like, do you know, whatever it may be. But for me, mine was drink, like, I've had other drugs throughout my life. And yeah, cocaine was a problem as well. But everything in my life involved drink. Everything was around, drink had an impact on everything. And it's funny, but we look back on life and there's a word in recovery, or there's a statement in recovery that is so relevant and important, I think, for people, and that's forgiving yourself.
The reaching out in CA, mate, that's my favourite verse in CA, you know, actually forgiving yourself for all the damage you did to your mental health, your finance, career finances.
Because if you don't,
other people, because if you don't forgive yourself, how can you expect other people to forgive you?
But if you don't forgive yourself, you need to understand you're going to pick up.
Yeah, of course, right? You'll use on that.
I'll use on that, poor me.
Yeah.
So I'm not even forgiving myself now, I'm blaming myself, and I'm blaming everyone else, and I go and use again. And there's the principles and the basics in recovery. Like, get up, start your day right, set yourself up right, connect to a higher power. I mean, I do a gratitude list, I do some meditation, and then I work on myself all day, mate. I connect with loads of people, and at the end of the night, I reflect on where I'm at. And then the next day, I go again. Stay in the 24 hours.
Do you find it hard to forgive yourself, like, at the start?
Do you know what? I think there's... I'm still forgiving myself. If I be totally honest, I don't want to sit on this and say like, oh no, forgiven everything. No, I haven't. I've harmed people in my past, and I think some of them are life amends. Some of them I have to carry on doing throughout the rest of my life. And
I'm with you on that.
If I'm working on it, it's spiritual progression.
Yeah.
If I think I've solved everything, then that's spiritual perfection. And it says in that 12 steps, you know, I'm never going to have spiritual perfection. And I say this to a lot of people, but if you find it, give us a shout and I'll play to you instead. Do you know what I mean? Because it's about growth.
Yeah.
It's about growth as a person. And I don't know about you, but I'd stopped growing as a person very young. I was just living in carnage.
Existing
yeah,
as well.
Existing in there, yeah.
Yeah, no, I can totally relate to that, mate. Oh, totally. I just, yeah, as I say, when I fear about forgiving myself, and that's why I brought that subject up, is because I think for myself, once I left my job in June 2024, I left me job and I had £15,000 of my own money, and I thought, you know what sounds good? I'll just have a break. I don't need another job for now. So I got up every morning with my suit on and went to work, but there was no work. I just went to Wetherspoons. I remember my missus at the time, ex-partner now, she said, you haven't got a job, have you? And I went, no. Coming back, absolutely wasted with a laptop under my arm, like playing Tetris or whatever like that, for about 2 hours. But the thing is, coke, it's different to alcohol. Like, my main substance was coke, and I was doing £200 to £300 every day for a solid 18 months, mate.
Oh, yeah.
So that 15 grand, it didn't go anywhere. Like, that lasted me 3 months, right? And then that's when it turned dark. That's when the stealing began. That's when the borrowing began. And that's when I looked at my phone book and I was thinking, who can I get money off today?
But why do you think they say?
But it's insane. Yeah. You know what I mean? It is absolutely insane.
It's nuts. But like, you know, in recovery, anyone I work with, I get them to sign a statement to themselves at the beginning that I will go to any length for my recovery and sobriety, because I went to any lengths.
Oh my God!
Right, I went to any lengths.
I went to the edge.
Like
edge of the well, man.
Even when I started to lose my sight, I remember like walking to an offie at like 10 o'clock in the night, and I couldn't see in the night. But I'd walk, it'd take me about 40 minutes, I'd be having panic attacks, and then I'd get like a bottle of vodka, and by the time I got back, I drank it, and I'd go, I have to go back and get another one, and like look back, and I'm like, you're nuts. But that's where we have to go through the insanity, the obsession, where it doesn't leave me alone, and I don't want to ever forget that. I'll be honest. I mean, like there's a part in the program where we do step 5 and we remove our fears. I never want to remove my fear of relapse. I never want it to go, because I'm worried that if I remove that, that I think I'm fixed.
Yeah, we're never fixed,
No,
mate. We'll never be fixed, but you know, you just got to always remember where you came from as well. I think that's important for me, because I just think if I start thinking I've sussed this game, mate, then I'm going down quickly, mate. And I've realised that. And I know you speak very open and honestly about your flaws and stuff. And I think when people see me on TikTok, I think some of them think like I'm fixed. You know what I mean? You're doing really well now. I'm telling you now, I fall short every day in loads of other areas. And listen, I'll tell you something, mate. Although I don't pick up drinking drugs anymore, there's other addictions still in play with me that I still have to do inventory on, which is obviously step 10. And I literally honestly fall short, like, you know what I mean? Now and again, I think to myself, you know what, Steve, you've never gambled before, mate, bro, have a little flutter there, go on. Do you know what I mean? And I've done that, mate. I've done that in the last 6 months. I put a little flutter on, and it's just because my mind wants that kick, or I'm eating extra chocolate. I'm eating them full on £1.50 bars, bang, until it's all gone. I can't leave a bit in the side and it's got to all go. You know what I mean? I'm putting on weight now, but you know what? I wake up, Ray, and I don't have that pain and shame and misery on me anymore. I used to wake up with this brick. It felt like, but it wasn't just for me. It felt like a physical brick, because my chest was taut. I was taking propanolol for it, right? And propanolol was working on it, but as soon as I started coming off the drugs and the alcohol and whatever, the codeine and whatever, it just went away. But it did take a while, but then, and as I say, then you can start taking in more information. You start realising that you were a genuinely sick person. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you have got an illness. I don't care what anybody says. Oh no, people with no understanding of addiction thinks, oh, you're just doing that to yourself. You're having a great time. Do you think I want to be in bed pissing my pants?
It says in the book,
can't get up out of bed, fucking owing people money left, right, and centre. Me actual state stinking of bowl, stinking of shit. You know, when nothing's changed. No. But you know what I mean. I literally, mate. I was in the real depths of addiction, and so were you. And there is a way out.
I think, I look at this, and no matter how hard I've looked at this, I think this stole 30 odd years of my life, and I didn't know suffered an illness, and people don't understand it, as Steve just said. But it's very hard to explain to someone as well.
Yeah, just stop.
Yeah, just stop. Or why can't you just come and have one? And look.
No, it's just stop. Can't you see your kids there?
No, but loads of times I'd be like, yeah, I'll come and have one with you on a Friday. And my mate would go home at 6:30, and some would stay out till 8 o'clock. I'd be out on Sunday. I'd still be like, I'd still be absolutely mad as a box of frogs. But I think there's something very special about when you understand that what's on offer in life as well. I mean, and I don't mean money, and I don't mean material things, and I don't mean doing any of this stuff, but I mean peace, and I mean that being able to sit with me.
Recovery.
Yeah, but being able to sit with me. I've never been able to sit with me. I mean, it's funny, because like you was talking about working on yourself every day. If I'm in on my own, and I take phone calls in the morning, I still do 12,000 steps walking around it until 2 o'clock.
Is this because you're footing out all the time?
Yeah, because I'm just like constantly
active, yeah.
And it's like people come in, and then people come into recovery and they go, I think I might have ADHD, and I go, you've got it.
You've got it, yeah.
You've got it. You've got PTSD. You've got bipolar.
I can't do that, Ray. I mean, I walk, because I'm in the recovery house now. I'm on the 2nd floor. If I'm walking around at night, mate, people are banging up, going, stay shut up. But I'm like you, mate. I can't keep still. You know what I mean? I've got that nervous energy. That needs to be released.
But I've just always done it. I've always walked while I was on the phone, and it's like, some things I think, I can look at me watch in the morning and I go like 12,000 steps, and I go, yeah, but 12,000 steps of like helping others and working with others and reaching out to people and doing stuff that means stuff in life today. No, hiding away, hid away. Paranoid, wondering if people are judging me. I mean, I say this in meetings, and you just can take it to everybody that I come across, but I don't really care what you think about me anymore. I really don't. I spent so long.
But I'll be honest, I mean, like, you don't normally get someone who's in recovery, that's what you said, and like, I just want to say, like, in the rooms, you are so respected, mate. I mean, like, you've got a lot of love, mate, and you have done a lot. You don't, I know you get, I don't want to make your head too big.
No,
but you just, like, whenever I come into contact with you, I just feel like I want to be around you more. because you've got that wellness about you, and that attracts me. And you know, the rooms say, you know, it's attraction, not promotion.
Yeah, most
and
definitely.
I'm not attracted to you in that way because you're ugly, but.
I thought I was the blind one.
No, but mate, I love hearing you speak. Your passion for recovery is something that rubs off on loads of people around. Whenever you're in the rooms, whenever you're giving a speech, I always want to sit and listen to it. I'm always like taken aback, and I always come back and think, you know, can I do better? Should I do? And that's what you do.
But it's honesty, isn't it? And look, I like if I'm having a bad day, I will tell people in the rooms I'm having a bad day, but I'll tell them how lucky I am to be clean and sober, because a bad day for me, was it being cloudy or sunny or whatever it may be, I can find an excuse. I see what recovery has on offer.
Do you think I mean, like, obviously, like, recovery's a journey, right? So, obviously, like, you've got me who's, like, just over a year clean. You've got you who's nearly 4 years. Is it?
4.5 now.
4.5 years. So, like, you get told to look up, don't you, to people, and, you know, your sponsors try and get someone who's, you know, a little bit, you know, who's got a couple of years in them. That's what you get told. You don't even know, I can take someone through the 12 steps now, but, you know, you always try and look up and go, oh, they're 4.5 years, how did they get there? Because I've always done that. Do you know what I mean? So when I look at you, and then I think to myself, if I can give that love and affection and kindness and thoughtfulness that Ray can do, and I'm on that path, I think I'm doing all right. But I still beat myself up all the time, and I can't help it, because I feel like there's still so much for me to do.
Why do we work a programme though?
No,
because if you didn't work a programme, you beat yourself up, but you choose because you're beating yourself up.
Exactly. So I know something different about me today is that if I do fuck up, I will admit it, and I will go back and say I fucked up and I'm sorry.
But how do you see the things that you've done wrong unless you work on a programme? So this is one of the parts of the programme is inventory, and everyone goes, oh God, I'm scared to do my inventory, or I don't like to do it, and you're like, I mean, you don't like to look at yourself, but that's why you walked in the room, because you didn't like to look at yourself. If you don't do your inventory properly, how do you see what you need to work on? And that's why I work a programme, because otherwise I go to the bed at the end of the day and I'm like, I've been a great fella today. And then I look at my inventory and I'm like, you need to work on this and that.
We will always, and like, I'm similar to you, right? So I'm on TikTok and I'll say to people, like, you know, your forms of recovery, I'll support any form of recovery that gets people off drinking drugs of any sort. If you're staying clean. But there's another side to that, right? Because as you know, my behaviours, even before, and can I just be honest, even before I picked up drinking drugs, were a shit show as well. So like the likes of lying, manipulating, I was doing that sort of stuff anyway before the drugs become a problem.
That's natural.
So that's what I mean. So like there's behavioural issues there. They became worse over time with the drinking, the drugs. But again, behaviours are still out of control.
So what is the 12 steps to you though? It's a solution, isn't it?
It's a solution to the problem, yeah. But
no, not to the problem. A solution to live life.
Right? Spiritual principles.
Your solution was drinking drugs, right? And so was mine, right? Because I didn't know how to deal with life, I lied to people, I manipulated people, I done that, and because I couldn't deal with life. Even like sitting in a room with two people, I'd be like,
do you ever lie now about anything?
Yeah.
I'm glad you said
No, and then I blow myself up as quickly as possible. Right.
So I've got this. I had this theory, like,
you just said I was 6'1".
No, I know, but I quickly said I wasn't. But I would lie. I even and I'd still lie now over the most stupidest things. So
just answer this to me though. Who are you lying to first?
Yourself, I know.
And that's the bit. That's the bit, right? That still baffles me today. Right, and that's the bit, like, I've tried to figure out, and I'm never going to figure it out, right, because it's part of the illness. But what I mean is, if you're lying to yourself, who you?
Well, this is the thing, right? So when I came into rehab, I remember having a little chat with Lisa, and she said to me, Steve, you know, I can't trust you. Basically, I couldn't be. She wouldn't let me be one of them, like I'm going to say prefect, but it's not prefect. Where you allow other people to go out with you after 12 weeks. You get like a bit of responsibility. A peer, I was never allowed to be a peer, even though I put the application in 3 times. I got failed 3 times because they couldn't trust me. So I remember Lisa pulling me into a room and she said, Steve, right, you've lost everything. You've lost everything in your life and you're still lying. I said, what are you doing it for? Because you're not doing it for your job, you're not doing it for your partner, you're not doing it for your friends, you're not doing it for your family. You're just lying to yourself. So she said, what are you afraid of? And I went, I'm afraid that if I tell you the truth, you'll fuck me off the rehab. And she went, how's about this? You tell me everything now, the truth, and I'll never fuck you off out of this rehab. And then all of a sudden, bang! It was just like, oh, like. But then I started just being honest about everything, and I don't think she liked that. No, but she gave me the green light to just go like, you being honest isn't gonna end bad, because she thought like me telling a lie was me getting away with it and living that lie.
Yeah.
But she said, no, nothing's bad's gonna happen to you now while I'm here under my roof. If you tell the truth about everything, you'll be alright with me. And then all of a sudden, bang, after 12 to 18 weeks, she came to me at the end and she was like, Steve, I'm just, like, you are probably one of the honest people in here. Like, I'll come to you now and you'll say this. And
I remember walking into
but I can still lie, so it's a work in progress.
Well, because so if you don't make the programme, you don't see the lie.
Yeah, you don't see the lie, mate. You carry on with it.
You just carry on, and then you go, right, I can't let him see him because I've told him this and I've told...
Yeah.
But I remember walking into my first meeting, and I remember sitting there, and they went round the room, and it was like, you know, blah, 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 I'm an addict, blah, 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 I'm an addict. And then it got to me, and I said, I'm Ray, and I'm an addict. And I felt like someone had lifted a big, heavy brick off my shoulder, mate. I was just like, took a big sigh, and then when I shared, it was like, this is the first time I've ever been honest. Do you know what I mean? And I shared around like some of my drinking, and I was like, as it was coming out,
you felt free.
I felt, and like, you know, I remember picking back up, and it was because I wasn't honest around me not working the programme to the best of my ability. It was because I wasn't honest that I could have a sponsor. It was because I wasn't honest about how I was treating people in the meeting, you know what I mean? And how I was acting around people. And I remember when I picked up, and I remember waking up the next morning and I was broke, straight away again, broke. I thought, no. And I went in there, apologised to everyone, said, look, I've been lying to you, I've been manipulating you. And it was like they all knew, you know what I mean? And I just said, look, from today, I'm going to go to any lengths for my recovery and my sobriety and do whatever it takes.
Can I just say as well, sometimes, like, listen, some of the rooms, I'm just going to speak openly here, because I've heard people on TikTok and stuff like that saying, like, you know, about the rooms, and that sometimes you go into a room and there's no connection there, and, you know, some rooms are better than others, but you've just got to keep coming back, keep trying other meetings, you know, you'll find a home group, but effectively, you know, you might go into a room and you might not connect as much as what you might think. I'm just saying.
No, I'm laughing because...
I'm just saying, you keep coming back and trying other meetings, and you will connect eventually, but you've got to keep coming back. You can't just go to one meeting and go, oh, that's not for me. No. You've got to keep coming back.
I remember though ringing my sponsor and telling my sponsor, said, look, there's a lad in this meeting, and I don't like him. I don't get on with him.
Yeah.
Every time he shares, it was winding me up. I was like, you're not good for newcomers. And I rang my sponsor, and I went on to my sponsor for about 15 minutes. He said, have you finished? I went, yeah. And he went, so while you're doing his recovery, who's doing yours? And I went, what?
Nah.
And he went, what message are you sharing?
Yeah.
Why are you talking about what other people's messages are?
Yeah.
It's not about their message. If a newcomer's in there and you're sharing back to someone, what's that teaching them? And I was like, and that's why sometimes I like, especially when you're in a meeting and you're like, okay, and people have to get stuff off the chest, and I like to bring what this programme's done for me, and it saved my life.
How many times have you been through the steps now?
Once.
You know, I mean, obviously, but you take all the people
through the steps of 25, 30 times.
Oh,
yeah.
You see, I'm at that point now where I feel like, I know the steps, right, but I'm doing big book studies on a Wednesday. I want my knowledge to increase in other areas. You know, I really want to knuckle down, because I feel like it took me 5.5 months to do the steps. Some people will do them in 2 months. Some people come in my labs and say, I've done them in 2 months.
Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly.
Yeah,
just don't put an acetate round. Like certain steps, we go, oh, but these are really hard. Do you know, like the amends? Like, I remember having a conversation with you, and I was like, just get them done.
The steps are there, but obviously the steps are there for life. It's a lifestyle choice. This 12-step program.
You work the steps until you get to step 12, and then you live them.
Yeah, then you live them. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
it's your life.
Yeah, because I have to put these steps into every aspect of my life. Otherwise, I don't want to be great in a meeting. A lovely fella, everyone, oh, lovely Ray, and he's a great fella, that Ray, in a meeting. But when I come out of there, I'm absolutely knob to everyone else around me.
I'll tell you he is. No, he's not.
But it's the truth though. Yeah. And look, I make mistakes in meetings, I make mistakes in life. The program allows me to see them mistakes. And it's really something special about being able to look at your own mistakes and go, how do I do that better? Not look at your own mistakes and go, oh my God, I'm worthless. And that's what I always done.
Can I ask how you chose your sponsor?
I didn't. So I went 62 days, and the guy took me into recovery. Luke, he won't mind me saying, and if he does, I'm unlucky. But when I relapsed and I was in my brother's, I come out of my brother's and I went straight back to my mates and I was like, listen, I picked up. I was diagnosed, was registered blind on the 15th. I picked up on the 16th. I went to see my mate the next day, and then the following day I put myself back in the meeting. And you know, I was saying to him, I need to get a sponsor and that, and then 2 days later he said to me, if there's a guy ringing you, give me your number. I'll find you a sponsor. And I was like, I was fuming. I was like, that's not your job. And I was like, and he went, just speak to him. And as soon as this guy spoke on the phone, I felt like I could tell him anything, like immediately.
I've done that very recently to someone quite close to me, a girl. So, and I've put in contact with someone who I think would be an amazing sponsor. Now, whether they take that on board, it's on to them. But yeah. I just wanted to touch that quickly, just on. I'm sorry, I wanted to talk about this. Just change tact a little bit because when obviously I'm due in court.
Yeah. That's still recording, isn't it?
It's still recording, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm due in court on. Well, I'll be honest. It's 24th, so 2 weeks today I'm due in court. So the reason why I want to talk about this is because I want to tell you the length that I went to in regards to finding drugs to use for me to use. So I was touch base really on when I came into rehab. Before that, I had my own money. I had my own place to live, car, family, lot.
They're all yachts, aren't they, though?
Yeah, no. So I lost all of that. I went to live with my mum. I'll never forget this day, Ray, and it always makes me well up. I went to live with my mum when I was in active addiction, and my mum was, I was using it every day, Ray, and I was stealing. So I was committing fraud. That's what I ended up in the paper for. So I was kind of reselling tickets, and then I thought to myself in my own brain that I could pay this money back. And it's the insanity of just finding the money to use. Yeah. I've never done anything like that before, but that's where, I mean, some people won't go to that level, but my addiction was talking to me 24/7. I was going into psychosis. It was a horrible state of affairs, and I was living with my mum, and my mum's a smoker. She was like smoking 40 to 60 ciggies a day. She wasn't eating. Yeah. She ended up collapsing, hit her face on the floor, black eyes. And I remember my auntie coming down to see me, and I just had another bender. She said, Stephen, come down the stairs. I remember us coming down the stairs, and she put her hand on my leg and she said, Stephen, get the fuck out your mum's house right now. Yeah. And but that just, for me, that was I know this sounds bizarre, but that was the best thing that she's ever done for me, that woman, and my mum. And my mum went to go and live with my sisters, and the locks got changed on my mum's house, and she went to go and live with her sister for a month, and that's when the homelessness began. But I'd exhausted every single avenue for money and stuff, so I just had to deal. I was either going to live or I was going to die at that point.
Well,
that's why honestly,
it's my nose collapsed.
Yeah, my nose had collapsed. I was in a wild state of affairs. The reason why I tell this story is because, like, so when I tell that story, people go, oh my God, I can't believe you still come through all of that. I come through that because I know sobriety Steve, whatever you want to call me, would not have done them things in a million years if I were in an active addiction. Yeah. But I did do them things, and you've got to take accountability.
Most definitely.
For what you've done in active addiction. You can't hide these things. You've got to face them face on. And that, you know, I'll be charged in 2 weeks' time. I might end up going to prison now. That's a possibility.
But again, about this.
Let me finish, right? Even if the worst thing happens to me, it won't be as bad as what it was this time over a year ago when I was homeless and I didn't want to be in anymore. If I go into prison, it still won't be as bad as that.
But you have to deal with the consequences of our behaviour as well.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
And sometimes, you know, how do you clear that? How, you know, if that's what your amends is around that stuff, then that's what it is, isn't it?
Well, Jack, I remember coming into rehab them first 6 weeks, and I told everyone I'd done it, and I ended up on the news while I was in rehab, and everyone was just like so kind, and they were like, Steve, I've done worse than you. And I know that sounds terrible, but what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is, like, it doesn't matter what you've done.
No.
I said, as long as you're faced to it, and then you realise, you know, you wouldn't, I know I wouldn't have done them things, but I did. But the thing is, it's like, there is a thing where, like, if you go into services, whether you go into smart recovery or CANA or AA or rehab or whatever you do, you'll find like-minded people, and what you'll find is that you're not the most important person, and people will look at you and go, actually, I've done worse than you, and I'm still. For me, I know what you.
For me, it's not even about, like, I've done worse than you. It's about, are you ready to change your behaviour?
Yeah, change
right?
Your behaviour.
Because look, listen.
That's what the 12 steps has taught me.
But my journey, mate, my journey as a 49-year-old man, I mean, in a room in an HMO, right, with 2 bin bags full of clothes, working just to survive, right? And I reckon I had a week, maybe 2 weeks left, mate, because I was now blacking out every night through drink, right? I don't even know how I survived an hour, but it took me to lose my sight, for me to grow the courage to be able to walk into recovery. Now,
yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
And then
that's rock bottom.
Yeah, and so what I mean is, and I can look back and I can pull my life to pieces. Yeah, you know, I wasn't there for my kids, and I let people down. I've stole. I've done lots of stuff in the past that I'm not proud of. But it's not about that. That's where the forgiveness comes in. Because if I can't forgive myself around that stuff, but I also have consequences in my behaviour, there's still stuff that haven't been amended in my life, and it may never be. Right, and that's consequences of my behaviour.
But you've got to be okay with that as well. You've got to be able to.
Because it's not about me.
Yeah, no, it's not about you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
All I can do is be the better version of me today. As soon as I start looking out and trying to impact what other people do, I'm back to old Ray. Do you know what I mean? How do I become a better person? By working on me. How did I find God? By looking in. I looked out for so long. And then when I looked out, you know, it's like, do you think I look alright? Do you think I'm alright? Are you my mate? Are you there? Constant, as you said, in your head, constantly. I've had to walk into recovery, and I've had to learn to forgive myself, mate. And, you know, as we said, I haven't forgiven myself over everything, but I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. It's a 24-hour programme. And it's about my actions now. Because if we look back, mate, you know, I watched an old fella on TikTok, and it was tomorrow's a mystery, yesterday's history, the real gift is today. And it's so true, because if I look forward, I put expectations on everything. If I look back, I can't see the good. And even when I was cleaning toilets, I couldn't see the good, you know what I mean? So I only find the bad stuff, and I forget today. Now, the only day that can impact the rest of my life is today, mate. And that's what we have to focus on, mate. If the worst case scenario happens today, you come out with a clean slate, mate. And if it doesn't, then you get to help lots of people, mate, and keep doing what you're doing. Look, mate, we're not in control of some of this stuff.
No, I'm not. As I say, I've accepted. I've forgiven myself for what I've done, and you know, I've worked the steps. I've forgiven myself, because if I don't forgive myself, I don't think I can allow other people to forgive me. And I've had people that I've stolen from reach out to me on TikTok, mate, and say, Steve, you put me in a bad way here, but let me be the first to tell you I've forgiven you for what you've done. And these are people I've stole from. So it's not been all bad. You know, I've looked at the smooth. And I'm trying. You know, it is it's very much a work in progress. But
most definitely.
As long as you're trying to push forward in your recovery, and you're trying to be the best version of yourself, I don't think you can go wrong.
No.
You know, if you work the most of your day, work the program.
If you work the program really well, right, then you understand.
Listen, I work it well. I don't know about really well, but I work it well. I was still working.
Listen, for all the people who are walking in, you need to work it really well. Right? Take no notice of this well. No, you need to work it really well, and when you don't work it really well, right, you become restless, irritable, and discontent. That's the illness all over us. And we know it, we feel it. We know the answer, but we find every other answer under the sun. And that's what I've always done. I think, you know, turn the attitude into gratitude in the morning. See what you've had in your life the day before. See how lucky we are to be clean and sober today.
Yeah,
you know,
it's mad, isn't it? Like when you're in active addiction, you do have these external things that you take for granted.
Yeah.
Like you just got no gratitude at all, have you?
Mate, I am the
I
richest.
never had gratitude at all.
Mate.
Like I came into recovery and I had gratitude over the smallest, tiniest little things.
Are they the smallest, tiniest little
But
things?
no, they're the biggest things. I know what you mean. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, I know, but
like just like having a hot shower and
can I say something? No.
warm clothes.
The most important things to you are right in front of you. We just don't see them. We just don't see them. I remember working with a sponsor, I'm not going to say his name or nothing, but he was struggling around his gratitude list. Struggling, he said, don't know how to do this not working. I said to him, do me a favour, where are you? He said, I'm in the house. I said, close your eyes. He was like, what? I said, close your eyes, 15, 20 seconds. And I went, open your eyes and tell me what you see in front of you. And his first three things was his daughter, his wife, and his telly, right? And I said, do I need to ask you any more? And he was like, no. And I said, they've always been right in front of you, them three. And he just went, oh, weird. And I was like, you know, that's why we have stuff like see the truth through the lies, because I don't see the truth. I just see it like all bad around me, and you're like, gibbet, it's not about you.
Gibbet, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't see what's on offer. So, like, I'm not going to leave it in a minute, but I think, you know, look, for anybody who's thinking about walking into a room of recovery or joining a Zoom or joining a TikTok, be prepared to be humbled, be prepared to have a good look at yourself, find out who you are. I walked into these rooms and I didn't have a clue who I was. All I knew was it was petrified of me. And I heard somebody say on a thing that a while back I listened to, and it was like, you need to understand that I was a young kid locked in a man's body when I walked in, but that young kid had been through lots and lots of trauma. I'd dragged that kid through loads. So be prepared to forgive yourself. Stick with the winners. Stick with the winners, and the winners are the people who are working the programme well. And make connections. Make connections.
Connections, protection.
Yeah. Get out. Well, the opposite of addiction is connection, in it. You know, because I isolate. I sit on my own. On my head is like the worst solicitor you could ever hire in your life, mate. It's got the worst ideas. It's got an answer to everything, and it ruins my life. So, but I need people who are listening to this to understand that we are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. Them rooms, or the TikToks, the meetings online, the Zooms, you know what I mean? We're just waiting for you to join. We're just waiting for you to walk in the door. It could be the greatest day for the rest of your life. Your first meeting's not the important one, no.
The second one is.
Second one is, it means you come back.
Keep coming back.
Keep coming back. It works if you work it, you work it. Yeah. I used to think what the most corniest line that in the world, you know.
There's loads of corny lines in recovery though. They start meaning so much.
Yeah, it's an easy program for complicated people. So that's why they have to put some of these things in. It works if you work it. So if you don't work it, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Work it because you work it.
Yeah.
Right? Because my self-worth when I walked in them rooms was shot. That's a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful gift, lad, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But Steve, listen, I wish you the best of luck in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, thank you.
I love you to bits.
Love you too.
And well done on your 386. 86. Do you know what? It'll be more like 400 by the time this goes out. But it's lovely to speak to you. It's lovely to be around you, mate. And keep doing the good work you're doing in the background. I know you're helping lots of people in the background. And sometimes it is just about people being able to speak openly and honestly with somebody else.
I think with the TikToks and that, Ray, I think it's like some people can't get out of the house and they don't know about CANA, AA and smart recovery, so they ask questions and stuff. So to be able to signpost people and point them in the right direction, and it happens every single night. And the most one thing as well, there's a woman who came on the live yesterday, Helen, and she was talking about her partner and active addiction and stuff, and all us as recovering addicts in the room, we all just sat and listened to someone whose partner was in active addiction, and she gave us an experience of what she was going through. And so it's a magical place. So if you're listening, go to sobriety.steez on TikTok page. I'm live from 8 till 10 every single night. And if you are one of the family, we have Family Anonymous, Conan on, and Anon. Yes. So there's help out there for you as well, guys. Look, I love recovery because it's saved my life, but it's also given me a life.
It's funny, when I first walked in, I was like, I want my old life back. I wouldn't have my old life back if you paid me. I had somebody the other week ask me, would you have your sight back? Probably wouldn't, you know, because...
You can see a little bit.
Since I've lost my sight, I've been clean and sober, and that is something very, very special. Yeah, so keep the sight to the last. You look really well, that's But anyway, guys, look, another edition of Finding the Solution, and it's lovely to have you on stage.
Thank you, mate. Love you too. You too.
So, guys, I hope you liked that. That was a little window into recovery, a little window into two addicts sitting there, openly speaking to each other with no fear. And fear, a word that used to terrify me. I was afraid of everything, me. But not anymore today. And I'd done something last week, and so it was to do with Dada, which is deaf and disabled arts. And I'd done it in the Unity Theatre last week. And it was an opportunity to walk into an arena, and you sit down, you get introduced to a couple of people. They put a jacket on you, some headphones, a neck brace, a set of shades so you can't see anything, headphones, and then a helmet. And I was Mr. Green. And when I got put in this arena, there was Mr. Blue and Miss Red as well. And it was an apocalyptic event. And there was sounds, and we couldn't speak to each other, and we had to survive different events that was thrown at us. Now, it was an amazing, wonderful event, and I'm very, very grateful to have been a part of that. But it really showed some vulnerabilities in my life, and showed how nervous I can be in social situations. It showed me how much I suffer with anxiety, and but it also showed me underneath I've got to fight to survive, and it made me look back at my journey throughout my life, through childhood, how I've dealt with things, and how I've normalised situations, and I'll run away from events, and you know, some of that stuff I'll make living amends to on a daily basis. But it really opened my eyes to how much growth as a person I've got ahead of me. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I come out of there in a daze. I come out of there. It was funny. We finished the sort of event, which was 45 minutes to an hour. And then we were sat in a room. They took all the equipment off us. And then they lifted the eye shades off, and we got to meet each other for the first time, the three people. And as soon as they lifted the shades off, I said to everyone, I have an overwhelming feeling like I've known you all my life. And it's something about being put in that situation. Would you be able to survive in an apocalypse? Would you be able to fight for yourself? Would you still be able to keep your moral compass in the right direction? And for me, there was lots of that stuff in there, which I did. There was stuff that tested me. And I come out of there a more rounded person, I really did. So I'd like to thank Dada for that, because I'd love to have another go, I'll be honest. I'd love to have another go. But there is many events around this city that you can get involved in. And I just want to share a big ball of positivity, a big ball of humility, and a big ball of gratitude for the opportunity to be able to do this stuff, to be able to speak openly, share some of my thoughts and feelings, and also for personal growth. I am full of gratitude. I had a lovely thing the other day. When we're in a boat, we look behind and we see the wake. And the wake is just where we've been. It doesn't help us steer the boat. It just shows where we've already been. And that was so true in the last couple of weeks. My past does not define me. It just shows me where I can grow. So guys, go and find a solution to whatever problem it may be today. And hopefully you come and listen to the next episode. Thank you for listening and joining and being part of finding the solution. Have a wonderful day.